Diving into the old request pile once again, and for a change, the person who made the audio drama didn't request this. At least that's how I interpret it whenever the people who made the audio drama followed me on Twitter around the same week I made the call for requests. This one was actually recommended to me from family of all places, who found out that I'm kind of getting into audio dramas lately, and they gave me like 20 different things to check out. Digging into their little request list, I decided I would check out Kalila Stormfire, Economical Magical Services. That is quite the title. That's quite the name, too, Kalila Stormfire. Sounds like it could be like some sort of like Arthurian action hero, you know? The title's pretty straightforward. Kalila Stormfire is a witch who has an economical magical service. She basically casts spells that help people with their day-to-day problems. Usually. Sometimes she has to tell people, no, I can't help you, or I can't do that. It's very unethical for me to do that. That's basically the plot, really. I admit, when I looked at the episode list on Stitcher, I felt intimidated right out the gate because, holy shit, I gotta go through 27 episodes in 1 week. I'm used to a lot of the audio dramas I look at being like, I don't know, 10 or 13 episodes tops, and, you know, usually I can make up my mind really quick after like episode 3, but this one has been interesting to say the least, and sometimes not the good kind of interesting either. I will say, considering what Lisette Alvarez is going for, it's actually a well put together show. Season 1 is for the most part a one-woman show, and I say for the most part because occasionally you get cameos from Desiree, who's played by someone else. Season 2 is when you start getting significantly more characters and more voices, and the length and scope of the narrative expands outward into an entire universe outside of Kalila Stormfire's little apartment, which is an interesting concept, but we'll get into that in just a little bit here. First and foremost, I listened to the entirety of Season 1, and I actually liked quite a bit of it. I'll admit, I got a little nervous when I heard terms like person of color suddenly showing up, because you know when terms like that show up, it's gonna suddenly degenerate into yet another rant about how all us white people right here, every single one of us is the fucking Antichrist. We're all a bunch of racist, homophobic bigots who voted for Donald Trump, and all we want to do is repress you. Every single one of us, no exceptions. Every single white guy on the planet, straight, white, and male, we're all pure satanic evil. Suffice to say, I really don't like talking about politics, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not the most politically correct human being on the planet. I mean, I'm working on it here, but every once in a while I'll still use the R word interchangeably with idiot or stupid or something like that, and I'm bound to make mistakes, like, I guess, I mean, is it okay to refer to them as queer now? I mean, I thought it wasn't, because when I was growing up, queer was a slur, but now I guess it's okay to say again, or is it more like the N-word, where, like, it's okay when they say it, but when Straight-O over here says it, cut his throat and drink his delicious blood, for he has committed blasphemy, or whatever. So exhausting. Fortunately, the worst of it is one particular case in Season 1 revolves around a family that reminds me very much of the family from Knives Out, and that's not white people, that's rich people. Let's just get that out of the way right now. That right there is rich people. White people can be broke too, and a lot of the broke white people aren't like that, as far as I know. Aside from the Knives Out family, though, Season 1 was actually pretty good for the most part. It was a pretty enjoyable show, and I'll admit, the epic twist of who the main villain was in Season 1, I did not see that coming. Bravo! You managed to trick me. Then we get to Season 2, and, you know, while I appreciate the fact that we have a higher budget and we're hearing from other characters for a change, and that the universe has expanded, it's pretty clear that a lot of these people maybe don't act professionally. I do remember hearing at the end of one of the episodes in season 1 where I guess if you donated X amount of money to the Kalila Stormfire Patreon, you could get cast as a character in a future episode. So I can't say I'm shocked to find that a lot of these people are clearly reading from a card or just really not that good at acting. So I'm willing to give a pass on that with the context provided. I do like the fact that in season 2, Kalila's having a bit of a conflict with her split personality or whatever, and that is a very interesting dynamic, and admittedly you have to get used to the coughing because that's how she indicates that the second personality is talking, and then she coughs again and her original personality is talking again, and so forth and so on. It's kind of one of those things you got to get used to, but once you get used to it, this aspect of the narrative is pretty interesting. It's when we start getting into the war between the Coven and the Fae when I start thinking, God damn it, people. I mean, I'll admit, I'm still listening to Season 2 at the time I'm recording this. In fact, I'm up to about, I want to say, a little less than the halfway point, but any minute now, I'm seriously expecting the head of the Coven to declare that we're going to build a wall, and it's going to be good. Very, very good. Keeping out the Fae, because they're all rapists and murderers. Well, a couple of them are good, but most of them are all rapists and murderers and very, very bad. Very bad. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go spend 5 hours of my life on Twitter. I get it already. Donald Trump sucks. Everybody's a fucking racist or super PC right now. Ugh. You know, I hate sounding like some sort of alt-right shan trash and all, but when I start hearing all this fucking snowflake politics and how we are running this thing into the ground where I'm not even sure we're complaining or if we're joking, we're just going through the cadences because that's what we do anymore because this dipshit is our president now for God only knows what reason other than Hillary Clinton would have been significantly worse for this country, etc., etc. I can't even remember how I was going to end that thought. All I gotta really say is a lot of this has really kind of affected my enjoyment of the show, and the more I hear about this, like, changelings versus the Coven's debates, you know, the more it's kind of reminding me of that, and, you know, you took something that was pretty much on its way to getting a solid 3 out of 4 hats, and as a result, I really feel like I have no choice but to give it 2 hats out of 4. And I really hate to do that because it had such a good start, and I was even willing to forgive the Patreon actors, you know, but 2 hats out of 4. Fucking hex me. And that's gonna do it for this week's audio drama review. Assuming some witch from clear across the country doesn't decide to make me explode in my crappy office chair here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tune in next week for more Tommy Teal Hat flavored goodness. In fact, I strongly encourage you to check out the audio drama playlist on this channel and see what other shows I've reviewed. In fact, I encourage you to check out the channel as a whole. I've got all kinds of content. Please like me. Please? I'll see you next time.